what are the side effects of this therapy culture? Yeah, let's dive into this and let's figure it out together, nice and clean.
How close did you ever get to unaliving yourself? Men are dying a silent
So it's gonna be a harsh video. I'm not even going to pull out a lot of jokes.
and slow death of loneliness. And I've gotten really tired of the thousands of videos repeating the
I'm completely exhausted and want to give up on life. Life is BS. I actually seen this guy. He's been promoted by a lot of on YouTube especially.
same thing.
I have no friends.
No friends, no social life, no job.
Nobody cares about you in this world.
They say loneliness is as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, and how 15% of young men today don't have any friends. But again, why?
Yeah, why? Like, I genuinely cannot understand. And listen, this is coming from a kid who was bullied in preschool. No, not preschool, but in what's the first school that goes? It doesn't matter. I was bullied when I was a kid, and I still had friends even then. You know, friend is a powerful word that evolves with life. It's different when you're 10 and it's different when you're 20. And in my life, I can say that if you have a group of people, a certain group of people that you can basically be with, you're not alone. Trust me. And I genuinely want to talk to these people who say they don't have friends, because I do believe the problem is in them. Like, completely. I We just passed the test, so a lot of people may know this about my personality, but it's on you a lot of the times. And that's why I said that most of the time it's not even therapy that you need, but you actually need to dig into yourself.
So I spoke with both the younger and older generation to see if we're all being too soft or if there's more to it than that.
I had an actual emotional breakdown.
I also spoke with the CEO of one of the country's only tech addiction centers to connect the dots, and I even confronted my own addictions and loneliness at a time when men's issues are ignored.
Something I think I've always struggled with is like addiction.
This will be a multi-part series on loneliness, and so today I'll start by investigating the growing problem of tech addiction.
It's a fun thing because I haven't seen any other videos of him about this. I'm gonna check if he actually did this or not, because he says it's gonna be a couple series. But I don't see additional videos. Maybe he's gonna say later about it. Who knows?
I'm Dr. Cardaris. I'm a guy that is trained as a psychologist that's really focused my professional capabilities on treating the epidemic of how screen time has affected our mental health.
So is that where you guys see the group therapies right here?
We'll have small groups in here, so things like process groups.
The men predominantly come in, they'll say, I have a gaming issue, but the real issue is depression and loneliness, and I self-medicate that through gaming.
I think this older guy...
Again, I play games. I do play video games. Usually twice a week with my friends. Once we hang out with them, we can play a game, but it's not, that is not the big problem, because even the happiest people play games.
Who used to be a patient here is just the perfect example that it's not just the younger generation that's struggling with this. And so I wanted to hear about his struggles.
If you don't mind me asking, some people say that depression is not real.
Do you believe depression is a real thing?
I don't believe depression as a clinical disease is real, no.
What would you say to that?
There are people that...
If I start ranting on depression now, my friend is gonna get super mad at me again. So I'm gonna wait for the answer and then make a comment on it.
I believe the earth is flat. That's okay. If they've never experienced that, kudos to them. That's awesome. For those of us that have experience and understand the depths that you can go into depression and how it has an impact on not just your life, but on the lives of those closest to you, we have a different experience.
For a lot of the males that I work with, they feel disempowered, they feel alienated and alone. And it's interesting, right? Because the promise of social media was it was going to be connectivity. And yet
But it's like, I cannot make a comment on this. I'm sorry. Maybe I've experienced it different. But isn't the whole point of social media and all of that is to correctly socialize? Again, the point was to become more social. but only if you use it in the correct way. Because again, people have proved that when used correctly, you can get more, so to say, social with other people. I still have contacts with people who I could have lost years ago, but I still do, thanks to social media. I still know what they're up to, what their life up to, who's engaged, who's got a dog.
The reality has been the opposite. The loneliest generations are the youngest cohorts. The most connected are the loneliest people.
Did you ever feel shame for having an addiction?
You have to look at two things. There's shame and then there's guilt. Guilt's about, I did a bad thing and I feel bad about that, and so I need to make a correction. Shame is, I did a bad thing because I'm a bad person. When I believe that I'm a bad person, I'm a terrible person, it's hard to get the help because shame would say you don't deserve it.
Right, and you'll probably go deeper into the addiction, perhaps.
The cycle, yeah, sure.
And talking about shame, look at this damn screen time. I'm embarrassed to even show it. And it's especially bad when I feel like
Jen's iPhone 15. Let me check my screen time. Again, I work remote. So, okay, it's now 1 a.m. Local time. So, what I'm going to do actually is go screen time. Well, I mean, it's 19. Yeah, but it's because it's analyzing only today. I'm going to take, unfortunately, I can't take the day. I can't take the week. Because again, I think it's analyzing just my day. Yeah, I can take yesterday. I got less. But again, he's got entertainment 7 hours, social 2.5 hours. On my phone, I have 3 hours on Telegram, 2 hours on YouTube, on Instagram, 1 hour on YouTube because I was also like looking and searching for content. Then I have 43 minutes on WhatsApp. I have 33 minutes on my clock because I was doing my workout session. I have 30 minutes on a phone app, and basically to make it short, I can explain my my phone usage. That is the problem. It's okay to use the phone 11.5 hours. It's not okay if you can't justify it.
like I'm not doing well in my life or business. It's gotten to a point where I literally had to download an app so I'm not spending time on this bullshit. One of the reasons why I decided to make this video, because I feel like I'm distracting myself away from my potential. And the last thing I want to lose is the things that I've built, whether that be this channel, but especially my personal relationships. So it is interesting though, right? Just how Dr. Carderas.
There's a reason that most tech-cautious parents or tech designers and engineers. Yeah, because they know the consequence. Steve Jobs is exactly one of the biggest examples.
Wrote in this article himself how the most tech-conscious parents are the same parents who are building out this technology.
Many of the tech titans restricted their own kids' access to technology at home.
And look, at this point, there's been countless videos of people blaming social media for everything. But why is no one talking about the underlying issues of how we become a society full of loners, and especially men?
We're in this.
But maybe because that's why they blame social media, Jen. Well, let's talk about this. I'm actually interested. Because again, it's easy to blame social media. And it's easy to blame someone. People are just afraid to take a look at themselves.
Hyper-technological, atomized society where we used to have a lot more social supports. You know, we had everything from bowling leagues to fraternal organizations. And so those things that used to give us a sense of connection and mooring.
That's the problem. Those things still exist, and they still exist IRL. The problem is that people have gone so lazy to even look for those things.
Seem to dissipate, and the more technologically advanced we became, the more atomized we became, the more isolated.
Back in 1990, almost half of young men had someone that they could talk to during times of crisis, but now that number has dropped to 22%. So I wanted to hear.
That's actually interesting theory. Do I have someone? I would say I have. I truly believe I have. I hope that I'm not going to experience a real crisis, but I do believe that in those cases I have.
This experience and connect with my community, a subscriber of this channel, and someone at one point lost all hope.
My name is Miguel. I'm 25 years old. I live in Brazil, and well, I'm a tech addict. Here's my...
If I would have known this video would come, I would just go on Jen's channel immediately. That would be like, I would be the highlight of this video. Oh my god. Again, these couple months completely not about streaming, and the content was different. So, oh my god.
My room, my weird setup. It's messy.
Is that your bed?
My wardrobe? Yes, that's my bed right here under my table. Here, like a trash bag that I haven't taken out for I think like a few weeks. There's
Why? Exactly. Like, this is the most hilarious thing. I have a trash box behind my back. The only reason why I haven't taken it out is because I completely forgot about it today. Once I would have stood up and saw it, you know what happened? I'm like, trash box. I gotta go get it out. And then you just throw it out. It's literally 10 minutes of your time, max. Max. And I live on the highest floor, and I walk with stairs. I take the stairs, and I walk. I go down with the trash, and then I go up. You don't live probably on the highest floor, and you can take the elevator. I genuinely don't understand. Like, why?
a 2-liter bottle of energy drink.
Oh, okay, good.
And-
I thought you were about to say something different.
Oh no!
It looks,
yeah,
it
it's
looks
yellow.
a little yellow, so.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess.
Walk me through your situation.
Like I graduated and I didn't have any plans on what to do next with my life. So the worst possible thing happened. I went back to my parents' house and I didn't find a job, so I became a NEET. So it's
What's a NEET?
not in education, employment, or in training.
So,
So
for
so-
lack of better words, kind of just existing at that
yeah,
point.
exactly.
I think a lot of people watching might hear tech addict and be like, oh yeah, you know, I spend 8-10 hours on my phone every day. I'm sure I'm tech addicted. And to be honest, they're not wrong, right? Look, I spend 10 hours a day on my phone, and I would definitely consider myself, to a certain extent, addicted to tech. But can you like explain clearly why it might be different for your case and what extreme kind of tech addiction really does look like?
Yeah, so you wake up at whenever. You don't have a wake up time. After that, hop on a computer. Just do whatever it goes. Like you're drifting along. If I were to describe it, it's like you're actually just drifting along with life. You're not doing anything productive.
Well, what did he study? Like, he graduated, okay, Brazil, but I mean, the worst case scenario, you can always gamble and go on a trip. You're probably not responsible for your parents if they have their own house and now you have your own room, I think. I don't know. Let's finish his story.
At all.
What was like your family like as you were kind of like living this lifestyle? Did they push you to do stuff, or
Like I never shared nothing like my emotions with them, and while I was being depressed and all. But there was this one turning point where I remember my parents they sat me down and said, "Okay, listen, we have to talk." And my dad starts going on, "Oh, you're wasting your life away. You gotta, we're gonna die eventually. How are you gonna keep on living after we're not here to take care of you?" I had an actual emotional breakdown. Like I broke a cup. All the emotions I was bottling up, they
He
came out.
got angry because I found emotional breakdowns that he eventually cracked and started getting sad and thinking, I don't know, I graduated, but I don't even know what he graduated. What was he what was he doing when I need more context on this guy. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry, but at the same, I can slander him, but I can also give him a chance. I need more context. But I would assume he graduated something that he did not care about, he did not like, and did not really want to do, and just did it for the paper. Because what else would he do? And again, is there no? I don't know. It's so hard for me to understand. I can't. I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, and I just can't.
They spilled. That moment that I decided to, you know what, I need to treat myself. And I talked to my mom and said, okay, listen, I gotta find a psychiatrist. This is getting pretty bad.
how close did you ever get to unaliving yourself?
The closest I
Bro used a very careful word for YouTube.
got was started to plan out. At first it's like, oh, maybe I want to kill myself. Then you start thinking, oh, how can I do that? And I just stood at that point. but it was like multiple times a day. If you're not distracting yourself, you start feeling bad. You start feeling
Right.
start feeling depressed.
There's so many of the young people.
No, I truly don't. I truly would like to talk to this person. Like, I'm not even gonna slander him. I truly feel. How do I put this correctly? I can't say I feel sad for them or I feel bad for them because I actually don't get these people. That's why I would like to talk to actually figure out, well, like, did he really not have anything in his life? Like, the guy said he's 25. You know how a life can change even in, let's take an actual period that can be measurable. 3 months. 3 months is amazingly a lot. A freaking amazingly a lot. I cannot even describe how much. And I truly, I am trying to understand. I just can't. I really can't understand. Like, even everything that he said, like, there's so much space that you can uncover. I would be the best psychologist, really, because I would just dive in and actually point out that, listen, you have this, you can do this, you can do that, you can also do this. And even if he's gonna say, yeah, but I just don't feel motivated, I just don't like it. Try it. The best way that you're gonna feel motivated is just by doing it for 21 days. I am telling you, this is the key. You just constantly do that thing, and then all of a sudden you gain interest in it. How do you think video game addicts became video game addicts? Not only because it's easy and it's fun, but because look at how many of them actually are trying to improve themselves and actually try to figure out all of these ways they can win or ways they can build a better character and stuff. Just implement this in real life, you know? And trust me, it's gonna work.
I work with feel so frustrated because there is such an existential crisis. So then why not just play Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft and just escape in that world, because the real world seems pretty untenable to me. And
that is great. You know, that's the problem we have. People are looking at this and feeling sad. You should look at this and feel great. It's untenable, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to crack the code. I'm going to be the one who's going to own it. And I'm going to be the best. Watch me. I truly don't know. I truly don't know how. Like, why would you want to escape instead of trying to actually conquer it? Maybe it comes from being raised in a specific way. I don't know.
And I don't have a purpose and a role in that world.
I think obviously purpose is important for all humans, but do you feel like for men it's even more important?
You know, I'm sure this will be controversial in our gender fluid society, but yeah, I do believe that it's hard driven into our DNA, because in our hunter-gatherer culture, we were the ones that were supposed to be responsible to support the tribe or help support the family, and all those things that are sort of baked into our both biological and psychological DNA. You know, we're purpose-driven creatures.
But before confronting my own...
Isn't that cool? Like, imagine, even for a guy, okay, you don't have a purpose in terms of like goals and etc. At least you can find a purpose in, okay, I want to repopulate the world. Like, I want to at least give a chance to someone else to figure it out. Okay, what can I do for this? So probably I need a girl. Okay, how do I get the girl? Well, a girl needs to like me, so I need to figure out, how do I look good? How do I look dress well? How do I smell good? Okay, probably a girl is gonna need somewhere to live, so I need to figure out, how do I get a house? Okay, a house costs money, so I have to figure out, how do I get money? These things are so interesting. Like, look at how many questions. It's a video game in real life. You don't need to escape it. It's right here. And it's awesome. It's awesome. Oh, damn. Good is just one video, because otherwise, because these ones really need to hear the message. I am telling you, life is awesome. You gotta treat it. You gotta treat it right. Let me check the chat, because I think I got some. Hey, mate. First of all, sorry that I didn't check your comments. I didn't really read them. People, whether it's poor or rich, need something to keep them going and blame something. But what separates these is that the poor get horribly trapped in this trap that corporations And maybe he'll blame social media for me. Yeah, can you say what did I comment exactly, man? That was like 5 minutes ago. Ah, okay, yeah, now we figured out what he studied. Probably linguistics or English. Uh, I mean, to be fair, his English is kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Pillowful, subscribe to the Twitch channel if you haven't yet, because we're growing and we're gonna try to stream more of this. And yeah, to continue with this, let's actually hear Jen's problems, because again, he's got a big channel and he's got things going on in his life. So maybe he can have another way of this problem.
My own struggles, I wanted to hear from the man who made it his mission to solve loneliness, and if he once struggled with the same.
I think one thing that stands out about you, Dr. K, is the fact that you've had an extremely interesting background. I believe you used to be a nightclub manager. In that instance, how did you deal with loneliness? It seems like, if anything, your job was all about being around people.
I got out of school and I was adrift. I was going through a bit of an identity crisis, and I happened to be a pretty accomplished martial artist. I got my black belt in karate, and because of that, when I graduated college,
Sports teach you a lot. That is also true. If like this guy could have joined the sports team. Imagine, like, okay, you're 20 something, you're probably not feeling motivated. At least go move your body, At least go, learn how to fight. Like, I don't know. Life is so full of options, honestly. You just get you have to look for them, but it's because it's actually full. Look at this guy, from karate belt to nightclub owner to a world famous psychologist. Isn't that amazing? Thanks for the subscription, mate.
and I was totally adrift. I got a job as a doorman at a nightclub in Manhattan, the Copacabana, the original Copacabana nightclub.
Oh my.
But I had social anxiety and I hated crowds, and part of what led me into substance addiction was when I took a substance, it helped relieve me of that chronic feeling different or not comfortable in my own skin. I'm an introvert by nature in an extroverted career, so I needed to be numb. I had essentially a
Are
fatal
you supposed to be if you're a security guard? Like, okay, manager, I do get it, but a security guard?
overdose where I was in a coma for 2 weeks. Had a near-death experience and came out of that saying, okay, things feel very different and I've got to make significant life changes. And that's when I went back to graduate school and devoted my life for the last 30 years to helping people who struggle in a variety of ways.
The guy found his mission. What's your excuse, 25-year-old Brazilian? Like, truly, like this you can explain. You can explain this story. Okay, I did not graduate college. I was good in martial arts, so they put me as a night guard. But I was a bit, kind of shy, so I was shy in a very social group, so I had to pump myself up. And that's when I discovered things like drugs. I used them, didn't go well, and that's when I thought, okay, that is bad. How do I help other people avoid this? He made it his mission. And look at the guy right now. I can guarantee you he's enjoying his life. I can guarantee you that he's got a happy family, happy wife, happy life, and all of that stuff. What's his name? I don't remember exactly his name. Wait, Dr. Dr. Cardaras. Let me check this, Dr. Cardaras. Nicolas Cardaras. Ivy League educated psychologist. Look at him with the boys. He's smiling. I can, like, seriously, the guy made it. So happy for him. I truly, like, this is a man's life. And it's just a proof, who makes which conclusions. The one guy said that he can't find any purpose and he's just gonna play video games. This guy said, I'm gonna devote my life to helping other people. Shout out to Dr. Cardaras. What a G.
If Dr. Carderas proves anything, is that oftentimes the man that you want to be is on the other side of your darkest moments. And so was Mike able to find this version of himself? But before we get into that, first, I wanted to confront my own demons. Because going into this, I thought therapy was bullshit. I think there is something to over-identifying and dwelling on problems over and over and over again that I think makes the problems worse rather than improves it.
Yeah, with therapy whores or prostitute. I mean, the same way that you pay, somebody might pay someone for sexual support, people pay a therapist for emotional and psychological support, and we willingly accept that, but there's something transactional and inauthentic about that. We should.
But that is like before he says there's a big but in this. He just mentioned also the sexual services. It's the same here. If you don't have someone with whom you can, so to say, sleep, with whom who can provide these services with you by love, by nature, if a guy doesn't have his woman for this, sure, he may pay someone for these services. And it's the same with emotional. If you don't have someone who you can talk out, maybe once or twice, in some period you need to talk out. You just need to say what's on your mind, because yes, life, as I said, it's very bright with all the challenges, but sometimes you just need another perspective on some things that are bothering you, so that person can remind you that these things don't matter. What matters is the beauty of the life. So if you don't have anyone like this, that's when you go to therapy. And that's why I don't believe that therapy is a good service. Because again, it's the same as sexual services, just with emotions. Maybe I should start a career as a therapist. It's nobody judges you, and yet at the same time I can just listen and say, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, come on, yeah, okay, you want to say this, oh, okay, yeah, I understand that your life is bad. Anyway, your time is up, bye.
Should be leaning back towards the way we used to get through our issues, which was strong social ties.
So I get it if that's controversial, but look, as always, I did want to and went into this with an open mind. Because like I said before, my priority isn't whether I look stupid or not. The last thing I wanted to fall back into are my habits and my patterns, and why I'm where I am right now instead of where I want to be.
Can you give me a little bit of history about your background, where you grew up, your family, things like that?
Sure, yeah. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. My dad was a physician, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Grew up with two sisters, so I'm a middle child. That's why I probably make content. It's because I crave attention.
Yeah. And how was school for you?
It's good. Honestly, I got pretty good grades. I was a good student, but I definitely had a lot of a rebellious phase.
Tell me what that looked like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was just always getting in trouble, whether it be cussing in class or just being a menace.
Okay, it's kind of that attention-seeking thing.
Yeah, I think so.
We share so many similar traits with him. Damn, that is actually interesting.
So, to be honest.
It's difficult for you to get the stimulation that you need? Are you somebody that's always looking for that?
Yeah, definitely. I always like to say a lot of content creators there's two things. One, a lot of them have ADHD.
Yeah.
Two, they never really fit in. And three, they have an ego.
Okay.
So I might explain that.
I can see that. Do you feel like those things?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, got you.
Definitely.
Do you remember any experiences with bullying or being ostracized or outcast or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up in Portland, so it's the whitest city in America.
Sure.
I'm used to being the only Asian, whether that be soccer, school, groups.
Yeah.
And I really, really struggled with that. I had this big kind of soccer,
guy
school,
sitting
groups.
with the girls. The guy sitting with the girls, what could be the problem? And those are not his sisters because he blurred the previous pictures. Gee, what's the problem?
I really, really struggled with that. I had this big kind of inferiority complex. And I think I made myself a victim in many ways.
When you say that you made yourself a victim, what did that look like?
I didn't really stand up for myself.
Okay.
I think it made me an easy target.
Is there anything else that you feel like is important for me to know about you in order to be able to kind of help you best?
I really started becoming a lot more conscious of like my screen time and tech addiction. I've noticed that like whenever I've been getting stressed this year, I've kind of used technology as like a gateway so I don't have to think.
Yeah. Any dating apps?
No. I have
Okay.
a girlfriend, so.
Okay, gotcha. Or how about any online gambling?
No.
Okay.
No, never really gotten that.
Okay. The other thing that we'll screen for too is for pornography. Any?
Yeah, to be honest, I've struggled with that.
Okay.
I think I really do struggle with that. Not like, I actually actively try not to watch But yeah, I think that's something I've always struggled with.
Sure. Are you finding yourself distracted from work or not able to
What does he
engage
mean
with your partner?
Like he's got women in his head popping up. That's actually a pretty damn thing to say.
Or something like that?
Whenever I do get stressed, that kind of seems to be like the impulse to like make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think I've always struggled with is like, I guess like prawn addiction.
Check this out. He's got like some notes, but I think they're already prepared. So still people fall into the same structure. You know, I would visit a therapist just for the sake of interest, like how the experience is gonna go. Because again, I've never been to one, so maybe it's the same. I just don't know. But I would truly want to, like, just out of interest. Imagine the guy just like saying, "Nah, I have nothing to tell about you. Get out of my. There's nothing. You were right. Get out." It's all like, no, I don't even need your paycheck. Please, just go. I can't. You don't belong here. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I can definitely, understand how that would create some distress, right? Like you're engaging in something that's actively kind of going against like who you are or what you believe in or what you believe is right. And so on the back end of that, it's going to create a lot of shame. And so that cycle can self-perpetuate itself, right? Okay. For sure. If we don't have a good way to get that need met of connection in our day-to-day life, we're going to start supplementing that in some way so that we don't end up losing our minds, right? Imagine I'm feeling really lonely, right? And instead of maybe calling an old friend because that's too much anxiety inducing or whatever, I decide to, go get drunk and smoke a little weed, whatever. I'm not going to feel nearly as lonely anymore. Like everything's going to be exciting. I'm going to be able to engage with whatever's going on around me. The problem is that these techniques only work temporarily.
How about like online communities, right? Like,
for sure.
Whether that be, let's say, Discord.
That's the thing. I think I would just text the people. Whenever I feel like I need someone who can just like listen out and just remind me that the world is much bigger than this sad event that got me there, I just talk to that person. Yeah, I've been very lucky for my life. Again, I do not understand how can people like not have these people in their life, because existence is I just can't imagine existence without these types of people. But at the same time, yeah, I'm truly lucky, and I thank God for this.
Groups or
those things aren't inherently bad in and of themselves. The problem becomes when I only have online friends. Think about it in terms of the number of people that you could call when things go really south. How many friends do you have in real life that if you called would get in the car and come to you in that spot? Those people that are on Discord and Reddit aren't going to do that, right? Like they're going to
never say if you don't know. But that's confidential.
It's fun to play games with. We talk about this game, but they don't actually know you. They don't actually know.
It's like kind of a surface level relationship.
Yeah.
Talk to me exactly how you were able to, I guess, get out of this tech addiction.
So a friend of mine, he asked me if like I wanted to move out of my parents' house, and he proposed he would even like pay rent for me for like a few months just until
another person. Hey, shout out to you, Brazilian guy. At least I knew there was someone still for you.
A friend, right? until like I could stabilize my situation. So
damn, I don't
now,
have friends like that. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
You said you had no friends, but it seems like you have some great friends, my guy.
No, yeah.
You just weren't talking to them.
Yes, exactly.
Those people are friends. Like if they cannot do it in times when you actually need them, it's really hard to call them friends.
Actually, that's true.
I'm not talking about paying the rent. I'm talking about particularly the influence of the help that they can provide, the weight of the help that they can provide.
He proposed, okay, I'm gonna pay rent for you for a few months, so for 6 months. I'm not gonna pay food for you, so you're gonna find your own way. I had no money with me, by the way, so I didn't work. Anyways, I moved out. I was searching for jobs, like any kind of job. I landed a job as a teacher.
Finally, you know what? You know why? Because, okay, now he had a purpose. If I don't find a job in 6 months, I'm gonna get kicked out. Like, the guy gave me a deadline. Okay, I need to find money. For money, I need to find a job. How can I need to look for a job. There's a purpose. I called it like 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago in the video, 20 minutes IRL. I called it. All you need is to look for the purpose, and you're gonna find it.
And I've been working as a teacher like ever since.
So it was like really when like your back was against the wall that
Yes.
you really had to like kind of like get it together. Tell me about what your life is like today.
The problem is that a lot of people are not gonna start until their back is against the wall. I'm telling you, you don't need to wait for this moment. Just start now, do now. Raw action solves everything. Trust me, it's a quote for life. Write it down. I don't care, but just remember it. Just do, and think what you're doing. This is my rule number one. I swear, this is my rule number one. You can ask anyone. If you, yes, you have to think what you're doing, but if you do not do, the thinking process won't matter. So just do stuff.
Now I have responsibilities, and I do keep up with them. I work as a teacher, still work as a teacher, and I also teach I teach in a game development classes too.
Nice.
So I also teach people how to draw. Now that I feel better, I feel like I can start having my ambitions. I can start planning out for the future. But
So you seem more hopeful with life.
Yes, I feel more hopeful. Yes.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at the top of my life yet, but I know that I can still go higher.
That's great. I think that's the definition of hope. And so I challenge you now as the audience, the Gen universe or explorers or whatever, that together for the next 30 days, I order you to stop touching yourself and to stop. I'm just kidding. We're not that type of channel here.
All good. I already stopped.
But in all seriousness, I think it's clear from this video why so many men, and myself included, is trapped in this cycle of loneliness.
Two things. They lack a mission, and they lack people. If you have a mission, so you have a, so to say, end goal that you want to achieve, you're going to eventually move to it. And when times get hard, you need someone who's gonna pat you on the back and say, it's all good, you're not alone. Even if you're alone, you're still not always alone. So let's get up and let's move forward. Two things that you need in your life: mission and people. If you got that, you don't need a therapy. You don't need a therapist. I swear, put anyone in front of me, any single person around me who has gone to therapy. It all comes to two things. One, mission. Two, people. That's it. It's only gonna come to these two things. And it may vary depending on what specifically we're gonna talk about, but we're only gonna talk about these two things. Whew, what a video, and it's still 5 minutes. I gotta go to bed. Come on. I gotta get up earlier tomorrow.
Instead of chasing,
I have a mission. I have a goal. It's actually written somewhere here. Where's my? Yeah, it's one of the goals that's written in this book, in this notebook.
Chasing purpose in real life. We're chasing artificial progress in gaming, fake connection over social media, and fantasies on a screen. To simply put, cope. At the slightest feeling of pain and discomfort that we all feel, we numb ourselves with the very habit that makes us feel more alone. And I think it especially impacts men over women because of our ego. Instead of creating change ourselves or asking for the help that we need, we'd rather live lives of quiet desperation.
I'm curious, how do you think tech addiction impacts men and women differently?
You know, I have noticed a very pronounced gender divide. Males tend to gravitate towards gaming, escapism. Gaming fantasy worlds are a fantasy sense of empowerment. You know, you're leveling up,
They are doing the exact same things that they wish they could do in real life, but they do it artificially. Why? Because in real life, it takes much more time and effort. And time and effort.
You're accomplishing feats, you're doing things that maybe in your day-to-day life you feel totally disempowered about. With women, more socially connected, leaning into social media more.
It's funny I'm saying this to you because I should be saying this shit to myself. But I'm at least self-aware enough to know how stupid this must sound, and especially some fucking influencer like me saying that I feel alone. And when I think about it rationally, really, I have absolutely no reason to feel this way. I undoubtedly have an amazing support network, whether that be my team, my family, my friends, my girlfriend, or you guys watching. And I'm self-conscious and feel cringe.
He used to blur her in the past, that's why.
Even saying this, but I feel like the bigger that I've gotten, the lonelier that I've felt. It's exactly for that reason. It's because I feel scared to share you these things without sounding ridiculous. Because I feel that every time I step up to the camera and talk to y'all, I have to present this picture-perfect, professional, unbiased truth teller version of myself, which is bullshit because I'm just covering my flaws. But I don't think I'm the only one. As I was
mission. So he's got the people. He's got the people. The problem is that he's doubting his mission. His mission was to be, so to say, at least how he portrayed this on YouTube, that he is the one who's like showing both sides and actually giving them a chance to speak and say something and even hear. But again, now that he's doubting his mission, now there's something wrong with that mission that he's not sure about. That's why he starts feeling lonely. Because he, as he said, he's got the people. It's really now it's really about the mission.
Was finishing making this video.
And hey, maybe he just his mission is just not like this. Maybe he has a bigger mission that he just has to discover.
I saw this clip by a
Jinxie cries on stream break up with break. He was stalking girls while having porn addiction in Israel.
Popular streamer by the name of Jinxie talking about what led to his breakup with his ex-girlfriend.
I was like stalking other people on social media, like other girls. She found out about that and that broke her heart. Porn and stuff like that is a very unhealthy addiction, but I had no idea the damage that could do to someone.
And
truthfully, I am probably the one person who also doesn't understand how can you need corn when you got a woman. Like truthfully. Because the point of corn, let's put it like this, the point of it is not really to watch, how do I put this correctly? Naked, okay, let's speak directly, naked women. It's because even men can agree with this, that you a lot of times get much more affected by when the woman is not, so to say, when she's uncovering but just a bit. So you know there's this type of secret in her. So the thing is, they're not doing this particularly to see the naked girl, but because they lack, so to say, someone who is going to, so to say, do this for them, someone who's going to be them for them, someone who they could even potentially, who they can have a chance, who can give them a mission. You see, corn gives them a mission. You need to open it up. You need to Google it. You need to find the particular one. You need to find the suitable one. Lack of mission. I am telling you, mission and people. These are the two things, only two things that you really need to care about. That's it. If you got those fixed, you won't feel lonely. You won't have all of these addictions. Just trust me when I say this. And hey, if you don't trust me, we can talk about it. You can always write it down in the comments. I'm always welcoming to any comment that you leave. And I reply to every single one of them. Really, every single one of them. Like, check it out.
As you'll guess, a lot of people have thoughts about it.
You did not have to do this shit, bro. If that shit happened between y'all and she found that out, bro, y'all keep it between y'all, bro. Now you let the audience on more info about y'all shit.
And the fact is, I don't think Kai is wrong, because maybe you shouldn't bring details of your breakup to the public, and not to mention too how his ex-girlfriend is literally a corn star on OF. So
maybe you should have started from this. Maybe you should have started from this. And then he's wondering why he had this addiction. You found her on the same way. Just because now she's in your real life doesn't mean she's gonna stop. Well, of course, now it explains everything. I was here trying to defend, trying to explain. Screw it. That's the reason.
But nonetheless, I actually do think that he said that what needs to be said. It's a hot take, but just like the hope for this video and the takeaways that I want you guys to have, to come forward and admit that the addiction got the better of him, that's something a lot of people can learn from. And I think the more men and creators, when people with a platform can say, hey, here are my mistakes, here's how I f***ed up, here's I'm gonna learn about it, I learned from it, and move forward, that's gonna help a lot more people than ruminating about your problems to a stranger.
I think you got a lot of good awareness around it. I have this anxiety. I kind of know where it comes from, and it drives some of these like quick fixes. So, you know, I think you're kind of already there.
Interesting. Thank you.
He's basically telling him, listen, man, all good. You're gonna figure it out on your own. You don't need me. Trust me. Just look at, like, you're coming on it. It's just a tough path right now, but it's gonna get better.
Of course.
Thank you. That was very, very great. Yeah.
But I would say to young men, as Jordan Peterson would say, first pin your shoulders back, hold your head up, get your head out of the digital screen, and be the protagonist of your own hero's journey. Don't live a hero's journey through an avatar. Get out there and seize the adventure. Whether that means going back to school or getting a job that puts you in a position that you feel is meaningful, get into the game, not the video game, get in the game of life, get into the arena, become a participant in the arena of life.
So guys, simply put, let's go touch some grass.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this one.
In the link in the description, so you can help us change the future of journalism. But anyways, thanks for watching and subscribe.
This was pretty damn powerful. Let me check the comment section. Goes out to make friend, finds people, tries best to befriend them. They don't want you back home. It is. Yeah, I mean, this is just like, men need safe spaces. Yeah, that is also true. But I mean, listen, shout out. I'm gonna save this to watch later because I've seen a lot of clips with this guy and I need to see him talking. But hey, shout out to Jen. Like, really, truthfully, someone had to do this video, and I really like that it's him who did it. So that was powerful. Moral of the story. Moral of the story. As it's already late at night and we all got our stuff to do in the morning. Why? Because we all need a mission and we all need our people. If these two factors are covered, we're good to go. So in any case, guys, I thank you for watching this, no matter where you're watching this, live or on replay. If you're watching this on replay, also, you can go into the comment section right now. So feel free, subscribe to this channel, comment below your thoughts. I always read them. I always interact with you. And hey, even if you didn't like the video, please dislike it. Please dislike it. And then tell me, listen, Zyno, I didn't like your take on this. Or listen, I didn't like that you had just one light coming from here. I really, really want to hear your thoughts. And I will honestly truthfully react to them. So with that being said, this was your guy Zeno. Thank you for all of you who have been watching the stream, and thank you for those of you who are watching the video. And I will see you in my other videos. Woo!